now request you Dr. K.K. Sharma, scientist and engineer, Northeastern Space Application Center, Meghalaya, to begin his talk on NERDRR, a disaster management support initiative from NESAC for NER. He has completed more than 40 important space technology application projects relevant to the Northeast India. Now I welcome you, sir. Okay.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, good afternoon all participants. Thank you for giving me opportunity to speak to this august audience. Also, particularly thanks to Mr. Dr. Mukherjee, who has been communicating with me for for giving a talk in this session. So that after this wonderful talk by Professor Mipun sir, now I will be just giving about this the NESAC initiatives about this disaster risk reduction in the northeastern regions. That I think I can share my screen now. What is that? Yeah, hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir, visible.
Yeah, thank you. So this topic that I have chosen is that NERDRR, a disaster management support initiative from NESAC for the northeastern region. So NERDRR stands for Northeastern Regional Node for Disaster Risk Reduction. So before going to the topic, I just give a very brief highlight about this NESAC. I hope many of you must be knowing, but still for those other many participants are there who may not be knowing about it, NESAC. So this NESAC means Northeastern Space Application Center was established in 2000. It is a joint initiative between the Department of Space and Northeastern Council to support these space-based inputs for the developmental planning of the northeastern regions. That means this center is dedicated to support this entire northeastern regions, the 8 states of this region, providing space-based input in all remote sensing applications, space and atmospheric science applications, satellite communications, disaster risk reduction, as well as in capacity building. So that is what our mandate is, and we have completed almost 21 years of services now. This center is very small, around 39 scientists, and only 8 office staff is there. But we have huge number of research scholars. Around this 23 research scientists is there, but research fellows and projects fellows, we are having around 50 numbers now working in these regions. So this slide itself is showing that this center is working mainly 5 domains. One is that Earth observation applications, that is remote sensing applications, atmospheric science, satellite communications, disaster risk support at the DMS programs, also the capacity building. In this 5 domain we have been working, but today's this talk is specifically briefing about this, what we are doing under NERDRR. So, but before coming to NERDRR, this DRR effort in disaster risk reduction effort in this is very important, because this region is under earthquake zone 5. Flood, landslides, forest fire, cyclones, thunderstorm, lightning, then erosions, then the crop damage, then health diseases, that is epidemics, are very prone to these regions. Though this is receiving very high rainfall, but drought, which is very unique term, is surprise term for this region is drought, but that is specifically for agricultural drought, is also affecting some part of this northeastern region. And then another reason that Mipun sir also has just mentioned, one of the reasons for the degradation is the destruction of forest, unplanned construction. These are some of the reasons why this disaster is happening. Disaster may be maybe natural, maybe anthropogenic, maybe even induced disasters. So if you see in general the basic disasters of the northeastern regions, 8 states having a different level of disasters facing, say particularly in the ticks. Of course, this is not my findings. It is I have collected from the net, so authenticity need to be seen, of course. And then these are different disasters have a different impact on these 8 states. So that means here, if you see earthquake is always it is a moderate, because though it is a high earthquake zone, but earthquake is not happening every day, so we consider it is considered as a moderate. So like this, earthquake, landslide, flood, cyclone, Thunderstorm also, of course, include here lightning, cloudburst, hailstorm, drought, forest fire. Epidemic is missing here. So like this region is severely affected. And the main challenge of this region is that it is a very tough terrain. So see, because of tough terrain, there is a lack of connectivity between different places. And then since communication is less, then people are not much aware of the different disasters and their preparedness. So that is some of the reason why this disaster is, when there are some disasters happen, the peoples are more affected. There is a huge damages always in this region. To overcome this, there is a mandate given to NESAC, Northeastern Space Application Center, to develop or to establish a program called NERDRR under DMSP, Disaster Management Support Program of Department of Space, that is called Northeastern Regional Node for Disaster Risk Reduction. So this NERDRR working in mainly on preparedness, relief, recovery, and rehabilitation support. We are not doing any relief, recovery, or rehabilitation work, but we are providing the support, mainly space-based support. The area's main domains of this under NERDRR is that flood, earthquake, landslide, cyclone, lightning, thunderstorm, drought. Of course, this is agricultural drought here, forest fire, epidemics, and also all this, many of the activities that this center is doing under NERDRR are preparing under dashboard for easy management, easy retrieval of data, and also for easy management by the planners. So this is how, in a nutshell, the main of the areas where this NERDRR is working. So if you see the functional aspects, say this, okay, previous slide, I have just missed one point here, is that if you see all this disaster, what I have mentioned here is that flood, earthquake. See, everywhere you see this center, this NESAC is not working in isolation. These are all working with the important centers or the dedicated centers who's for the particular disaster they are working, like IMD, Central Water Commission. They are dedicatedly working for the particular disaster. So this NESAC is also is working in collaboration with all these centers. And if we see the functional aspect of NERDRR, so this mainly, there are 4 aspects what we see or we work as that institutional linkages. That means that this NERDRR is linked with many centers, many institutions like IMD, CWC, and NEST is the Northeastern Institute of Science and Technology that is located at Jorhat, Assam. NRSC is National Remote Sensing Center, SDMS, State Disaster Management Authorities, and then SRSACs means State Remote Sensing Application Centers, then Water Resource Departments, IITs. This is only IIT written, but many academic institutions are in collaboration with NESAC under this NERDRR. So these are the proposed disasters to be covered. Of course, it was proposed during the inception time, but somehow this list has been extending, keep on extending, and also there are sub branches of these links. Means areas are also working, like flood. Flood has many other areas like urban flood or the general flood, river flood, even what's called flash floods are also now we are trying to understand and try to work on this under NERDRR. Riverbank erosion, thunderstorm, cyclone, landslide, earthquake, forest fire. These are the different disasters we are covering. And of course, there is no fixed methodology to overcome or to prepare a disaster risk support for any of the disasters. So there is a need of R&D because technology is developing, scenario is changing every day. Population increases, so land pressure on land is increasing. So there is always need for R&D. So this R&D is also one of the component of NERDRR. And then whatever we are working, many of these we are converting to some operational service. That means, like example is that flood early warning system. So FLEWS is an operational service from NESAC. Like these are some of the operational services are there. So these are basically the areas where this NERDRR is working on. So this slide talks about at present the operational services are there. Like here, first operational service is that FLUES. This is where this NER-DRR has started. I have to give a small background on it, that NER-DRR, that Northeastern Regional Node for Disaster Risk Reduction concept, starts while we started working on to understand the flood in Assam. So from Lakhimpur district, that when there is a Ranganadi river particularly, we try to understand whether there is a possibility of giving in a warning in a flood. Of course, IMD is giving about the flood early warning, flood warning, but IMD is giving a spot location and also only giving the particular height, water, what is called that, river height, water level increase, water level heights. But we try to understand that if we give a flood warning, then we should be able to tell which are the villages likely to be covered during this flood. So that means this needs many information. So this 2009 we started. Then around 2012 we tried to come some models, could build some models and try to give an early warning around 48 hours in advance. 12 hours to 12 to 16 hours in advance during 2012. Based on that success, the Department of Space has entrusted us to work specifically to set up a center here within this NESAC to work on the DMSP, that's Disaster Management Support Program. So that is NER-DRR has been established in 2012. So now NER-DRR is working as operationally on the FLUES, flood early warning system, embankment breaches monitoring. That is, every year we are trying to understand which are the embankment there is a breaches, and then also trying to see before flood, before monsoon period of the subsequent years, whether those breaches are plugged or not. Then accordingly we used to give the information to the respective governments whether they should, so that they should take the appropriate measures. SLIM, that is seasonal landslide mapping, landslide early warning system we are trying to develop with not by only NESAC, with other centers like the NRSC and there are a few other centers we have been working. Then we have the forest fire alerts and burn area assessment exercise, that is an operational service. Active flood fault mapping of NER that we have started doing with a small area. Then we are trying to expand it to entire Northeastern region. Then hazard risk vulnerability assessment is also another operational service. Means once we complete one area, then we extend to the another area. This is how this continuously this has been working. But there are many R&D activities under this FLUE and NER-DRR, that crop damage assessment. I'll show some examples subsequently. Then earthquake precursor studies, then city disaster resilience action plan, thunderstorm and lightning studies. UAV also, this center has is also unique among the DOS center, is that only this NESAC has the facility of UAV lab, that we are also trying to understand or implement using the UAV in disaster management too. Industrial hazard, very few centers in the country is working on this, so we are also trying to understand, have touched upon few of the areas. Then web portal and dashboards, that all this works that NESAC is working under disaster, trying to put together for easy access to by the users. This is in a nutshell the total area, but if I go to few of the slides, few of the areas where we are working, this flood early warning system. As I said, 2009, this NESAC has started this exercise, but 2012 onwards under NER-DRR, this exercise has been taken up, particularly started with some. Then this flood early warning system has many components. This is called WRF system, that is weather research and forecast. There is a global model is there. That model is trying to understand, using that model trying to understand in the hydrology unit when some rainfall is there in a particular catchment, based on the terrain, based on the size of the catchment, based on the size of the river streams or the orders of the rivers, order of the streams. What will be the particular amount of water, that is called a hydrograph, which a particular point. Based on that, this river for warning can be given. Flood warning can be given. But again, to support that, then their meteorology group is there, meteorology model is there, which that tries to understand based on the amount of cloud in a particular catchment, amount of cloud, type of cloud, and the duration, how much duration that cloud is on in a particular area, what is the rainfall, possible rainfall there, or actually what is happening. So amount of rainfall also calculated using the remote sensing data. So based on that, the water prediction is there, how much rainfall will be there. Then hydrology models can tell us about the amount of water can reach a particular point. So this is the basic concept of this flood early warning system. Now, based on different researches and this calibration and validation methods, now we are able to give almost around 48 hours in advance in some of the areas that those are the areas likely to happen, flood likely to happen. And then based on success of this Assam, this exercise has been extended to other northeastern states. These are the other states where this work has already started. These are the different models has built. So this is how this flood is mainly is working. And this, as I said, this flood is based on the different models. We can calculate how much water is coming. Now, if we have a very fine DEM, digital elevation model, that is at centimeter level or even at a millimeter level, then if you know the amount of water coming, and if you have that fourth dimension, that means how much water is coming at what time, then you can calculate which are the particular villages where the flood may happen. So these models are also already built. This is a very important information for particularly for the planner, state disaster management authorities, who can in advance can prepare the amount of reliefs required or amount of number of people may likely to be affected, of course. So this is how this NERDR is supporting these northeastern states, particularly state disaster management authorities, in mitigation of flood related disasters. So this is how another important exercise is that once this satellite pass is there, of course this data that the information is getting from the microwave data, that is the radar data, because when this normal satellite data, we see these are all optical data, and because of cloud you will not get the actual information on the ground. But microwave satellite data, which can penetrate the cloud cover and get the actual information from the ground. So this is how a regular exercise this center is working on in collaboration with National Remote Sensing Center, that once satellite pass is there, based on that, what is the areas where there is a flood. So this type of information, maybe within 7 days, this type of once flood satellite pass is there, within 7 days, this type of information, exactly including the name of the village and the area to area affected, also the actual area of agriculture field which are under inundation, is type of information this under NERDR is being generated and given to. If you see this in a different dates, if you see in the lowermost corner of this, that there are dates and that particular date which are the areas under flood. And of course, some of the areas are there as because of not availability of satellite data, or the satellite pass on the particular date, is entire area might not have covered, but whatever available, it is being generated and provided to the respective state disaster management authority. And so also I mentioned about this monitoring of embankment. This is very important exercise for the state government, because if there is a breaches, like they said, an example here, the Karimganj district on July 2019, we have seen that there is a breach. Now, when again this is the breaches, this has been informed, and then again we cross check in the month of February, March of next year, and try to understand whether it is plugged. If it is plugged, fine. If it is not plugged, same information has been given to the respective administrative authority, so that they can appropriate measure to at least to plug immediately. This is an operational service that we have been working. Of course, it is now working for the state of Assam only, but other states also will be working shortly. Then another exercise this NERDR is supporting is that crop dams. It is called crop dam, that is crop damage assessment and monitoring system. This talking about the actual crop area damage due to the disasters like flood, maybe flood, soil, river erosion, or maybe diseases. All these area possible effects on the crops are covered under this. Here, this talks about this crop damage assessment due to flood. So particular district, after showing after sowing, after 648 days, 60 days, 72 days, how much areas are already affected. So these are actual area with the, since this data is in the spatial domains, and then if you have the village data, village layer, if you have the actual land use land cover map from where you get the actual crop areas, then you can easily calculate which are the crops are already damaged, which are the plots where crops are already damaged, and the actual assessment. That means you can convert this into money value. That means if the particular hectare is affected, what will be the economic loss for that particular plot. So these are possible to do, and we are, of course, we are not converting those economic value there, but these are also possible to do. These are one example of that kharif crop at different phenological stages. So these are flood inundated kharif crops. So this talks about this particular crop, say example rice. If the rice is in a flood affected, if the water is inundated, this crop is inundated only for 1 or 2 days, that crop may not damage. But if the inundation duration is for 4 days or 5 days, if it extends to 10 days, crop may not die, but this crop will be severely affected. So like this, that means if you know the number of days affected, inundation is there on the particular crop, particular field, based on that, the damage severity also can be calculated. So these are some of the exercise that is regularly doing by this center under NERDRR and providing to the respective authorities. Also, crop due to the different bank line erosions. This exercise has been doing for last 30 years. 30 years satellite data. The actual amount of crop field, how much damage. Of course, this same exercise can be utilized for even say how much that habitation loss or other fields loss. But particularly this exercise, we are only specifically targeting the crop fields. If you see this images, 2015, 2020, see the due to bank line migration, how much crop field has damage, means what is the actual loss happened already. Of course, there is not only loss, but always there is also deposition in some other places. But when there is a loss in the crop field, while depositing, it will not be a soil, it will be a sand. It will take some time to convert this soil to a particular fertile land. So that means once it is lost, that is an immediate loss, but recovering may take some time. So this is some example of this last 30 years, almost from 30 years, what is the loss of different crop fields due to bank line erosion changes. And as I mentioned about this agricultural drought is that particular crop season when there is a particular time where particular amount of rain is required. That's what is called the critical amount. Critical rain is required. If that not happen, that is considered as the agricultural drought. So this center is been regularly monitoring and providing the information to the concerned department, so that if possible, some necessary measures can be taken for recovering those particular crops. So this is some of the example. We can also calculate which are the drought hazards. So here, very high, medium, low. What is actual area also can be calculated and can be given. In HRBA, that hazard risk and vulnerability assessment, that all under this center is working in some of the areas like HRBA. Also, city disaster plan. This is one example of Shillong city that this center, this under NERDRR, this type of exercise we are working, and we are giving very accurate information, very appropriate information, that documents we have been giving. And also under Amrut mission, this center is working for entire northeastern state with support of other agencies providing this information, urban plans. Landslide is one of the areas this center is working, that early warning for the northeastern states, that landslide, this is called LEWS, landslide early warning system. We are trying to develop with NRSC, National Remote Resource Center. This needs lots of groundwork. This is some of the example that field training has been given by the NISAC to this different state disaster management authority of northeastern states. So these are one of the regular exercise we have been doing, because landslide is happening every day. Then active fault mapping, I just because of shortage of time, I will not discuss in details any of the slides, but I just try to give you the highlights. These are the active fault mapping. For entire northeastern states, this has been started, but this is near Kapili Fault area. That means that is near Noga region. This work is already started. We also welcome other institutes to support or to join hand with this NESAC. Another area, this is of course in R&D mode as of now, that earthquake precursor studies using TEC, that is total electron content. Of course, there are many centers in the country or abroad globally has been studying, but this center also started doing research on that, trying to understand whether TEC can give at least half an hour in advance if there is a earthquake likely to happen. Because as of now this exercise is giving some result or studying on the past events, but as of now you are not able to give about the future events till date. We hopefully will be able to achieve that target also. Forest fire locations have also is giving by this FSI, Forest Survey of India, this regularly. But what this center is doing under NERDRA is that along with the forest fire locations, we are giving the other informations. Means when we give a forest fire locations that we are providing in a map form, means the actual location on the map. Then we are giving the location along with the connectivity, nearby the fuel characteristics, means in the what is the vegetation type nearby, whether it is a good what is called that it is a highly inflammable or it can catch as fire. So based on that, fire vulnerability map is also generated. That information also we are giving. Then also we are trying to give that what is the nearest water availability, connectivity to the water. Also trying to give that their wind directions and wind speed, because based on this wind speed and wind direction, we can also presume or model it that which direction fire may likely to move. So this type of informations are regularly providing during the forest fire periods from November to almost March-April period. Till that time we have been giving to all concerned forest departments. HRBA, I have already mentioned that almost we are working on already. We have already prepared HRBA for Guwahati, for Dibrugarh, Silchar, and also for Shillong. We have already developed. I have shown earlier one example. Then also small towns of northeastern states. Here example is for 5 states, five small towns: Tura, Nongpur, Nongstain, Williamnagar, and Joy. This example is that trying to build a proper HRBA map for this particular all these 5 towns. This in this slide that we're trying to show you here. Then also I mentioned about this epidemics. So we have started one exercise in 2003 with regional medical research center at Dibrugarh, trying to understand the Japanese encephalitis disease, whether we can give an early warning. So we work almost after 3 years of research. We could give the JIS, that means Japanese encephalitis early warning system we have developed, which can give you the appropriate probable location of the probable villages where Japanese encephalitis disease may likely to occur this current year. What will be the probable intensity and when this likely to happen? This needs lots of information, including the space-based information. Means it needs information about the vegetation. It is the land use land cover, because that vector mosquitoes can breed in different type of land covers. Some need small water bodies, some needs crop fields, some needs particular type of shrubs. So these are all comes from the satellite data along with the ground information. Plus also we need information about the type of mosquitoes available in a particular region. This comes from the ground, which has been collected by this regional medical research center. So based on that, we are able to build the models, and that it has seen that model has an accuracy almost 80%. This example here, slide I put here is 2018, shows that the villages which we are giving information like this, which villages having very high potential, high potential at a danger level or medium, and then subsequently low. So this type of grading, this is possible to generate. And lightning, and one of the interesting area that this center is also working and trying to give the lightning nowcasting for the region. We, along with this TLN data, we have this WRF we have the WRF data installed at 𝐶𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐨𝐧. Using this data, this lightning nowcasting we are trying to give. And these are also, we are trying to understand this thunderstorm, how this thunderstorm is moving in a particular direction. And once we could track this, then how much time it needs a particular location. That means based on this, we are trying to give that 10, 20 or 30 minutes in advance whether which locations thunderstorm is likely to be coming. Of course, that there are many other physics behind it. I'm not going to discuss here. So these are the areas where this is working. Okay, this is the part of flues. And then all this exercise that what I have mentioned here is that the NERDRR, these are all putting together in a portal called nerdrr.gov.in. Under that, all this information, what I have said till now, almost all informations are available, including the operational services. Some of the operational services may not be available for each in general public. They need some specific credential to see or they access this data. But in general information will be available for all publics. All of you can see and give the suggestions, advice, suggestions or comment on this. This is one of the example of early warning system. Particular time when, if you see the flood during flood season, if you open the flood map, you will see the particular districts or villages or blocks where you will, based on this high, moderate, low, or just flood may occur. You just be cautious. Like this type of information will be available in a pictorial form. But detailed tabular data also can be downloaded. This center is also responsible for this region. So we are also connected with an international charter. And last year, particularly in 2000, there is a very sudden huge flood occurred in Assam. So immediately international charter was activated. So around 15 international partners who have given immediately within 24 hours all all the satellite data available for this Assam area freely to NISAC. Then we have developed, we have generated many information from the satellite data and immediately provided to the concerned authority, particularly to the Assam State Disaster Management Authority. This is what this charter activations. This is what this based on charters data. Data we have given. See, this is the satellite data based on 1st August. Which are the villages having under inundation? Once this map is available, also once you have the land use land cover map of fine resolution land use cover map, once you overlay on this map, you will know which are the particular crop field or which are the houses are underwater. So this type of informations are available within 2 days once we get the satellite data. This has provided to the State Disaster Management Authority. This is one example. One example is the district-wise Kharif crop inundation map immediately is generated. And this is then these are also based on the 7 days, 8 days data. If you see from 15 July to 22 July. How are the villages which are area under water inundation? And also this under this same international charters call, we have also trying to understand that because of lots of particularly national parks. Here this example is Dibru-Soiko National Park, where is the floods happen, and then which are the areas under inundation, so that where this and wild animals has moved on. So this type of information could be generated within 1 week of time after satellite data. We receive the satellite data and provide it to the concerned department so that they can the appropriate measure. These are some example. This is for Kaziranga National Park. How this flood happened. If you see how this water spread increases in a different dates. This type of informations are easily available. You can generate that NISAC has already generated. Also, one of the point I have mentioned that this center is an excellent lab on UAV. So this crop UAV, that UAV also we have been using for these different disasters. Some examples are here is crop damage using UAV. This is for plant brown hopper diseases. We try to understand, monitor. Of course, this is quite little old data. Landslide mapping, immediately this, once we know that there is a landslide, once we fly the land over this landslide area, then based on that you can calculate many other parameters. Means what is the actual land mass has already moved on, what is the characteristics of this land mass, what is the slope, what was the slope, this type of information immediately you can calculate, and then if required some other measures to be taken, you can take it. This of course this is wide old data. This is how this that embankment bridge study that I have shown under flows. This is we try to understand using UAV data. Just go first. Also, this embankment, I think this is a video. No, this video is not moving. So this is that embankment. This UAV can play a very important role. Once you fly this the UAV through this embankment, then using the 3D analysis, you can see the actual structure of the embankment, and then you can calculate, you can understand, you can pinpoint which are the vulnerable places where if there is a flood or something happen, this bridge, there could be a possibility of breaches. But of course, this needs extensive study because you need to fly entire stress of this particular embankment. Of course, there also this is something happened. This movie is not going. So this is one of the study we have done on Kopeli hydropower. That pipeline, there is a leakage due to that huge flood was there. So immediately our UAV we have flown there, and then we have given some suggestions. Of course, this suggestion I will not spell out here. Also, this center under NER DRR capacity building program has been regularly conducting. Some of, if you are interested, please see our website. Some of you can participate in this capacity building program. Thank you very much for your patient sharing.